Today is April 7th. Yesterday I had a little bit of time to get in the garden, so I decided to work on the health strip, pulled weeds and mulched the area. It gave a chance for me to showcase these purple blooms on the ajuga and the purple blooms on the salvia. This is salvia big blue. And I can't remember what this salvia is, but obviously Big Blue is stealing the show right now. I have some bee balm over here and a Puxter Blue butterfly bush here. It's been here several years, hasn't done much, but it's holding its spot in the health strip. Right behind it, you can see the sidewalk garden. The daffodils are done, the tulips are done, and it's time for the next thing to roll in. I have a hydrangea here. I think this might be a Bobo hydrangea. We'll see soon. The lamb's ear, this patch of lamb's ear does the very best in my garden, right here up against the sidewalk. It loves this spot. The creeping Jenny also loves this spot. I have another salvia here, don't remember the name of it. And then we will have some lilies coming in soon. That is a variegated Joe Pye weed. It doesn't do much, but it comes back each year. Then we'll have some, what are those? Irises, some more irises coming in. I'm gonna get closer to that one, because I can see a bloom getting ready to happen. I love this little pot of sedum stuck here and on this path. I just think it adds a little bit of texture, a little bit of interest to this front yard space. And my metal sculpture of a snail always makes me happy when I see it. We see the lilies about to burst here. I think these might be red. We'll find out soon. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. I love to see the irises right before they bloom. They show you that they are on the way. Right under this is a smoke bush, and of course I can't think of the name of it, but it is a miniature smoke bush. And it came back from last year, so I'm very happy about it. These tulips, I'll pull these eventually once I decide what I want to plant here. I want to show you the tetrapanics. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I have this tetrapanics plant in my garden. I've had it planted for about 5 years now, and it is starting to run. So you'll see little baby tetrapanics popping up everywhere. And I knew that when I planted this, that it had the ability to run, and I mean several feet. It can run through the garden. But it is real easy to remove. You just dig up the plant where you don't want it and get rid of it or share it with other people. I love this plant because it gives my island bed such a beautiful look. In the summertime, these leaves get so big and beautiful and so bold. So I do enjoy having them in my garden. So what I'll be doing is digging up some of these runners, potting them up and sharing them with other people. I'm wondering how they'll do in a big pot. I might try that as well. But they are moving. Look at this, y'all. Here's one right there. You can see all these little ones that have popped up. But yeah, this is my tetrapanics, and it's go time, y'all. Good morning, gardeners. It is Saturday, April 12th, and it's a very beautiful, cool spring morning. I'll just be walking through the garden and showing you the things that are growing. There are lots of beautiful blooms right now, and this is a beautiful time of year. Among those beautiful plants and blooms, there are lots of weeds. So enjoy. This is my snowball viburnum, and my goal this year is to learn which types of viburnums I have. I have several viburnums in the garden. This one I know is an opening day viburnum. The cicadas did a number on my plants last year, so there is some deformity in some of the branches, but the plants survived and they bloomed, so I am thankful. As I walk through here, you'll see daylilies. This is my mother's oak leaf hydrangea. This was a division that I took from my parents' garden the year my mom died, and it is very happy. It is getting ready to bloom. This is so exciting. I absolutely love this oak leaf hydrangea, and it had been in my parents' garden for many decades, so I decided to bring a piece home with me. And this is the area I call juvie. You can see my cardboard back there. I am sheet mulching this area gradually once again. This is my red twig dogwood that was grown from propagations maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And you'll see some yellow twigs in there as well. When I planted this one, I decided to stick some yellow twigs in just to see if they would grow with the red twigs, and they did. We'll come over here and take a look at the cardoons. Cardoons have been in the garden for a long time as well. And when I say a long time, I really started gardening heavy in 2019 and kept going from there. There's a hydrangea stuck right here. I don't know which variety it is, but I put it back here because it struggled in some other areas over the last few years. So instead of getting rid of it, I moved it to this location, and so far so good. Another cardoon, Rose of Sharon. And this is my patch of asparagus. I do a terrible job of harvesting my veggies sometimes, and then they go to flower, which I don't mind because I love flowers. And I just love the whimsical nature of these. It's a beautiful little corner of the garden when these asparagus start to grow tall and produce these frilly branches with flowers on the ends. I have greens, winter greens growing here. There's some bee balm I stuck back here. I always love to see the borage grow because those blooms is so beautiful. And these were grown from seeds that dropped from an old plant. I have mustard greens growing here, spinach, all kinds of lovely things. This, let's get a little closer. I allowed this to grow. I think this is going to be a poppy, and I think it's going to be a really big one. So we'll see what happens there. But the mustards are going to flower, and right behind it, you can see the larkspur coming up along with that hydrangea. And you guys see a lot of vegetation on the ground. Those are tulips that I have pulled up, and I plan to compost them. I treat tulips as annuals in my garden, and I only purchase them on clearance because if I'm going to pull those up and compost them, I do not want to spend a lot of money on those bulbs. So we'll keep walking here along the edge. I have some onions growing here, and these are the walking onions, the ones that bloom here at the top. They produce bulbs at the top and they fall over and produce more. Y'all check out this blueberry plant. I love the color of the leaves on this blueberry plant. And you can see all these beautiful blueberries on the way. Look at that. That is so pretty. But this edge of the garden, I have lined it with blueberries, one blackberry bush in the middle, and it is doing amazing. I get lots of blueberries every year. Let me show you that damage I was mentioning about the cicadas coming through. So the cicadas came through, and of course they are looking for some sweet sap from these plants. And they really did a number on some of these. But like I said, my plants rebounded. Some of them last year did not, but this one is okay. Here in the walking path, you see a contorted filbert in a pot. I haven't decided where I want this to go yet. It has been getting sun, full sun, on my back porch, but I put it back here so it could get a little break from the sun because we're getting some hot days now that it's April. But look at the beautiful foliage on this plant. When I saw it in the nursery, I had to have it. It was the only thing I bought that day because it was the only thing I could fit into my budget that day, but I brought it home. And look at this beautiful heuchera. I'll have to put the name of the plant on the screen because I can't remember, but this is a Proven Winners heuchera. There's another one back there. Again, I don't remember the names of these right offhand, and it's early in the morning, so I will not rack my brain trying to think about it. But right here is one of my hellebores from Trader Joe's. Shout out to Trader Joe's for coming through with the hellebores. Here's another oak leaf hydrangea. This one is the Alice oak leaf hydrangea. And again, it has been in my garden for about 4 or 5 years. And it is loving this space in the garden. This entire corner of the garden is my favorite. Look at these colors, you guys. Just as I move across the garden. This little corner brings me immense joy. I have ajuga that's in bloom, heucheras, hellebores. The hellebores, the foliage is really big right now. It's covering up some plants that I do want to see, like that heuchera back there. I might have to pull that pot out of that corner. But I love filling up this area with ground cover and heucheras and hellebores because they do the job of smothering out weeds. These colors are gorgeous. In the distance, you can see an elderberry growing. But yeah, this corner, and right there, my loropetalum that's growing, I have moved that plant around so many times, and it finally found a home here, and I love it. My goal was to tree form it, and I might still do that, but it can get really big, so I need to be careful about that one. There's another one right there in the back. But where they are perfect. The colors in this area really pop off with the loropetalums in the background. I stuck my 2 chairs back there. I was attempting to create somewhat of a secret garden, a little nook that I could hide out in, and we'll walk back there as well. Y'all, there are so many plants back here. I gotta get in this garden and get to work. There are so many plants still in pots back here. So many treats. It's like a toy store back here. Let's keep moving. Oh, let me pause for a moment to give this snowball viburnum its time. It's been in bloom for a couple of weeks and it will soon drop these blooms. So I definitely need to give this beautiful shrub its time to shine. This one I have limbed up from the bottom to allow it to be more of a tree-formed shrub. In this back corner, I love the privacy it gives me in the back corner of the garden. When I started planting and placing these plants, I had an idea of what I wanted them to do, how I wanted them to function. This one definitely, at first, I was just like, I don't know where to put it, but I decided to put it here to start to create some privacy in the back garden. So we'll come over here. You see these beautiful yellow blooms. That is a mustard plant that is in flower. This mustard plant reseeded from last year and I just let it do its thing. I love when I allow vegetables to flower, just to watch the full cycle of the plant. Here I have a sunshine ligustrum that I cut back a lot this year, and it is filling out rapidly. But this is that corner I was talking about, my little secret garden, my little garden nook. But it will soon be full of plants. So let me step in here, get a closer view of some of the beautiful things back here. I can't believe this plant's name has escaped my brain at the moment. I have 2 of these in my garden, and it will come to me soon enough. But check out the elderberry. Oh, it has a bloom. It has a couple of blooms on it. Fothergilla, that's your name. You guys were probably screaming the name at your TV just now. Fothergilla. And this is the one that has the grayish blue leaves. Right now they're green, but they will mature to a grayish blue color. And in here, lots of heuchera. There's a hellebore, 2 hellebores that I dug up the seedlings. I dug these seedlings up last year, potted them up because I'm hoping they are the stinking hellebores. I had one of those in my garden years ago and it died. But then I started finding these seedlings, so I'm hoping that's what it is. But look at this. These colors is so beautiful. These branches you see here, this plant is a vitex, a pink pinnacle vitex, and it is starting to leaf out. Right behind it is a limelight hydrangea, and that one is tree formed with 2 main trunks. Lots of tulips pulled out of the ground. Here I have irises coming up. I love these irises. These were all pass along plants. I don't know that I've ever purchased an iris. Irises usually come to me by way of friends or by way of strangers when I see them digging them up in their yard and putting them in plastic bags to get rid of them. I honestly stopped on the side of the road one day when I saw a lady digging up her irises, and she told me she had too many, and I said, I'll take them off your hands. But look at this. It's gorgeous. The 2 large evergreens here are Nana globosas, and they have been such hard workers in the garden. The red rose in the background, that is my, okay, let's see. Nope, can't think of the name of it. But in the back, you'll see my double file hibernum. I'll definitely get closer to that. This is its time to shine, and it gets bigger and bigger every year, and I love it. Right next to it is a limelight hydrangea. This was one of my first clearance purchases years ago. After watching Moya rescue hydrangeas, I went to Lowe's and rescued one of my own, and she has been happy ever since. So let's walk back here and take a look at this double file viburnum in all its glory. So I'll walk through here and show you these beautiful lace cap blooms. They're starting to turn down, but they are so beautiful. They cover every branch. And I love the sprawling nature of this viburnum. It wants to go wide. It wants to stretch its arms and go wide. Right behind it is an Alberta peach tree. I coppiced that one this year because the branches had gotten so tall I would never be able to harvest the fruit at the top of this tree. So I decided to cut it back. I did save a few of the branches that had fruit on them. We'll get closer and see that. But this is one of those trees that I had no idea how big it would get. I just knew I had to move it to the corner of the garden because I knew it would get big. So this is actually the perfect place for it. It's been happy back here. Let's see some of the fruit on this tree. Here we go. So we will have a few peaches this year. I think we're finally past the threat of frost. I'm glad I kept a few branches that did have fruit on them because it just excites me to see my plants finally produce fruit. I have learned that Japanese maples do best in pots in my garden. I have heavy red clay soil, and they do not appreciate being in soil that doesn't drain well. This one actually has survived over the years, but it has struggled. But it's continuing to grow strong. I believe this is a blood good Japanese maple, which tend to do pretty well in my area. But because of that heavy red clay soil, I've decided that if I purchase a Japanese maple, again, it will have to remain in a pot because they do well in their own soil and not my heavy red clay soil. This is a Cleyera, I believe. This is an evergreen shrub. I had matching Cleyeras, one on each side, but the one on the other side didn't make it. But this is a nice entrance for the backyard garden. Here is my Wajila. These golden leaves and the beautiful pink flowers will be on their way soon. I love planting the lamb's ear along the border. I've been doing that for the last few years, and it loves this corner of the garden. This is a part sun area. So lamb's ear does pretty well back here. It will fizzle out once it gets really hot, but I love having that as the border of this bed. There are all kinds of beautiful things planted in here. I have mums. This is another Nana globosa surrounded by bee balm. That bee balm, it will take over, but I love it. In the pot back here are some dahlias. And then my cosmopolitan grass is giving beautiful contrast. Those beautiful striped grass or foliage is looking beautiful. There's one little daffodil remaining here, but there are some alliums popping up soon. Let's get a little closer. You can see the little allium heads in there. Those will be coming soon. I finally added a geranium to my garden, a perennial geranium. There are lots of echinacea, coneflowers. I see a phlox in here. In that pot back there are some lilies. Oh, cool. I can see my clematis getting ready to bud up. We'll just walk along this edge. This area, lots of larkspur, nigella, weeds, asters, lilies, grasses, sedum, wild strawberry, wild sticky bush, sticky whatever weeds I need to pull up. It needs some work, but the beauty is undeniable. This is a patch of lamb's ear. This is the flowering lamb's ear. I love this lamb's ear because it's a lot more sturdy than the lamb's ear that does not flower. Here is the Caitlin's ajuga. I get to get this on camera while it's in bloom. That's the Caitlin's ajuga. So I don't mind if that spreads through the garden. I'll dig up what I need to and put it in different areas. But you can see all of these irises ready to bloom.